In the shadow of the collapsing Seljuk Empire and the crumbling walls of Byzantium, a small and unknown tribe began to rise. Led by a man named Osman, this frontier principality would transform into a global empire. For over 6 centuries, the Ottomans would shape the world, politically, militarily, and culturally. This is the story of how a nomadic tribe became a dynasty that ruled 3 continents. The origins of the Ottoman Empire trace back to the late 13th century in Anatolia. Osman the son of Ertuğrul, was not a king or a sultan, just the chief of a small Turkic tribe. But he had a vision. As Mongol invasions spread chaos in the east, and the Byzantine Empire grew weaker in the west, Osman found a space to grow, on the very edge of both worlds. His warriors were fast, mobile, and deeply loyal. Instead of waging open wars, Osman used ambushes, alliances, and religious motivation to expand. The early Ottoman Beylik became a refuge for Muslims fleeing Mongol-dominated lands. That gave Osman both population and purpose. By the early 1300s, he had established an identity, not just as a warrior, but as a founder. The empire would be named after him, Ottoman, from Osmanlı. After Osman's death, his son Orhan took leadership and expanded the state even further. In 1326, the Ottomans captured Bursa, making it their first real capital. Orhan introduced the first Ottoman coin, formal laws, and even diplomatic marriages with neighboring Christian states. During this time, one of the most important Ottoman innovations began: the creation of the Janissaries, elite infantry made up of Christian boys, taken through the Devshirme system, converted to Islam, and trained for life in service. These soldiers became the backbone of the Ottoman military, fiercely loyal, highly trained, and deadly in battle. While most empires looked east, the Ottomans looked west. In 1354, after a devastating earthquake weakened Byzantine defenses, the Ottomans crossed the Dardanelles and took the fortress of Gallipoli. This was no small raid. It was the beginning of the empire's European expansion. The Balkans were fragmented, politically weak, and constantly at war. The Ottomans moved in with both force and diplomacy, offering protection to some, demanding submission from others. In less than a century, they controlled parts of Bulgaria, Serbia, Macedonia, and Albania. And then came Mehmed the Conqueror, known as Mehmed the Conqueror. At only 21 years old, he launched the siege of Constantinople in 1453, the last bastion of the Byzantine Empire. With giant cannons, naval blockades, and a relentless assault, the Ottomans broke through the walls after 53 days. Constantinople fell. The event shocked the Christian world. The Eastern Roman Empire was gone. Mehmed made the city his new capital and renamed it Istanbul. He respected the city's history, but transformed it into an Islamic center. Churches were preserved, others were converted into mosques. Trade, art, and culture exploded. The Ottomans didn't just conquer, they governed. They developed the millet system, allowing Christians and Jews to live under their own laws and customs, as long as they paid taxes and remained loyal. The empire became a multicultural mosaic. Armenians, Greeks, Arabs, Bosniaks, Kurds, and Turks all coexisted. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, in the 16th century, the empire reached its peak. Suleiman wasn't just a warrior, he was a lawgiver, a poet, and a patron of architecture. He reformed the legal system, built monumental mosques like Suleimaniye, and expanded the empire to its largest borders, from Hungary to Yemen, Algiers to Baghdad. By the end of the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire was the most powerful force in the Islamic world, and a feared rival in Europe. It controlled strategic trade routes, vast armies, and religious sites like Mecca and Medina. Though it would later decline, the rise of the Ottomans remains one of the most remarkable stories in history. From a tribe of horsemen to a world empire that lasted over 600 years. This was the rise of the Ottoman Empire.